What is up, everybody? And Everything Collectibles here, back with a fun, exciting video today. Today is a very special and momentous occasion. Today is June 9th, 2026, and that means today marks the 20th anniversary of the Cars franchise. One of my longest hobbies that I've been into since I was 3, 4 years old, and still doing it today. But yeah, I figured today I'd just do like a top 20 memorable moments, sort of my last 19, 20 years as a Cars diecast collector. Thought that'd be fun in honor of the 20th anniversary of Cars officially being hit today. So without further ado, let's get in to number 20. And number 20 is pretty straightforward. It's moving into my new place, which gave me the opportunity to have a bigger space, and sort of have different modules or for different videos. So this side of my room is all cars, and it's pretty fun. I obviously have been doing it for 20, almost 20 years, so there's all that. Um, but yeah, it really gave me the opportunity to grow um, more, I guess, as a amateur content creator. Nothing too crazy, but I still enjoy doing it, and I feel like I have a space that I can call my own without being too crowded and cramped now. Um, and whenever I move out someday, I'd still like to make this my main studio. So yeah, pretty fun. So that's number 20 out of, of my favorite moments in the last 20 years. Now, for most of these other things, 1 through 19, they involve me getting stuff. So, yeah, let's get on to number 19. Number 19 is going to Toys R Us to look for cars for the last time. I'm sure this doesn't need any introduction, but in 2017, Toys R Us filed for Chapter 11, and with that was the closure of all of the freestanding Toys R Us's across the United States. Canada, they still remained open, but in the United States, they all closed. There were a bunch of them I went to as a kid, in the state of Minnesota, and now they are back, just not the same. They're in Macy's or whatever. There's even one in the Mall of America, but it's not the same as back then. Toys R Us was the cream of the crop for cars. They had such a big section. They're the store that had the Precision series. I remember seeing them too, just sitting there. No one wanted them. They even clearanced them out. Um, but yeah, last time I went into a Toys R Us before they closed, um, I grabbed this, and I'm glad I did because this gift pack is kind of more rare now, I guess, and collectible. But I got this 2017. Comes with your standard old school Ramon, Greta, and Jonas Rivera, which was an exclusive vehicle to this gift pack. And here's a look at the back. So I've had this for almost 10 years. But yeah, there you go. This has sort of become a rare gift pack because it was part of the final Radiator Springs Classic line in 2017 before Toys R Us went bankrupt. So yeah, there is my number 19 memory. I'll always have this to remember the last time I went to Toys R Us. Number 18 was the hunt of 2024 as a whole. Now, in my experience, I feel like years before that, it would always be difficult for me to try and track down and find the highly coveted chases of that particular year. So in 2023, West Philanthropist was the MVP, the car that everybody wanted. And I know my state probably got them like very rarely. They got them probably in one store and I missed them. I know exactly which Target that was, because I'm pretty sure Targets aren't supposed to get them, and I think this one particular Target did end up getting that case, and that eventually made them pretty rare. So I ended up getting them on eBay, which was nice. But lo and behold, 2024 rolls around, and I'm starting off like oh and like 60 something before I finally catch a restock. The first car I ended up getting that year that I needed was actually Mateo. Mater's sister's husband from Cars on the Road. Um, I guess you can call him a groom. Never found him in 2023, and then I found him in 2024, and then eventually became a peg warmer, and slowly kind of morphed into the biggest disappointment of 2023-24. Started off, it's one of those FOMO cars, and I'd say Mateo was definitely one of those cars. But I found him, and I kind of kicked off 2024, and eventually summer rolls around, and we get cool releases like this. We got Lightning McQueen, Deputy Hazard, all brand new releases, and probably some of the coolest ones from Cars on the Road, which historically isn't really that great of a line. We have Cave Mater as well. That was a fun one. Um, Probably one of my favorites, Space Creature Lightning McQueen. It's basically like a do-over of Cupcake Lightning McQueen, which is another fun fact. I actually could have gotten Cupcake Lightning McQueen, but I left him on the pegs because I just didn't think it was cool. It was kind of stupid, and now that one is the dumbest, most expensive Lightning McQueen in Cars history, in my opinion. So, Space Creature was a do-over of that. And then the highly coveted President Mater, which in my opinion they should have left as a 1 year release instead of re-releasing him. It would be nice to collect cars that they only make once, but President Mater is still definitely going to be one of those cars someday. It is highly sought after, and this is the original release. But yeah, that is, I guess, number 18 on my list. A Hunt of 2024, kind of the first year where everything felt normal and was easy to get. So there you go. Number 17, collecting all of the original 2006 Thailand-made diecast. This was a project I embarked on starting in my senior year of high school back in 2022, and I completed the project. I want to say it was also like late 2022, early 2023, before I started the process of moving. So that was a fun experiment. I already kind of had a few of them. These were the first two I had. They're not my originals, obviously, because I started a year later, but I thought it would be cool to have all the original models from the Desert line. So I eventually ended up scouring eBay and eventually buying them all. And then if they were sealed, I got the cheapest sealed ones I could find that were damaged so I can open them. And that's how I completed that line. So there was 12 originals plus the 4 added ones around the time the movie came out. And then what was it? The several movie moments. So there was Lightning Mater, Doc, Sally, Chick, Sheriff, King, Lizzie Mater. Oh, I said that already, didn't I? Lizzie, Fillmore, DJ, um, Weakless, Dinoco McQueen, Green Ramon. Yeah, there's all of those. Um, and then obviously the gift packs: Boost and Snot Rod, Phone Room, Purple Ramon, Red and Stanley, and then Luigi Guido and Tractor. There's those four, and then there's the Rolling Bowling Mater, and technically the Dirt Track Lightning McQueen, which as singles were only available for the exclusive 1 in 1000 um, factory sealed set. That would be a cool thing to own someday. I know a lot of um, serious collectors have that piece, and maybe someday when I have the money, I'll own it, or when I really want to put my money towards more cars. But yeah, for now, that was another top moment of mine. I remember documenting the journey, and I remember taking pictures. I used to have them all on my dresser, at least that little part of my collection. And yeah, I eventually completed it, and now I have all the originals to go with the many, many, many variants and different characters of all these guys that have came out in the last 20 years. So pretty cool. Number 16 was definitely a big win in 2023 because 2023, I remember correctly, was a very slow year. West Philandelphus was a bust, so I ended up getting that one. I ended up getting that one on eBay, or it was given to me as a gift from eBay. And then Motto was announced in like one of the last cases of the year around September. So I started going up to Walmart every day pretty much trying to find this one because if you're not there every day, you're gonna miss out because some other collector that never shows his face or scalper will take it. It is very. I wanted to point this out as well. In my 20 years of collecting, I have never ran into another Disney Cars diecast collector in the store. I always run into Hot Wheels people, but I never find another Cars collector. And I know they're out there because I seem to take them before I get there. But it's just something to keep in mind. Like, seems like we're very private and quiet about what we like to do in public. Um, but yeah, it's just my experience in this state. But anyway, I found Motto. Found her after working hard trying to get her, and then they re-released her in 2024. But this one, I think, is one of those ones in the future. You know, it's one of those highly coveted ones. It's a cool model, like a Rolls Royce type. Made her sister. It's just so goofy, but yeah, that was definitely one of my biggest scores of 2023. And definitely was the biggest one that I found in store. I don't count West Philanthropist because I had to buy that one, but Motto was definitely the biggest, probably the second biggest, I'd say, chase of 2023. And I found it, so there you go. There is number 16. Number 15 would have to be getting the Lightning McQueen lamp as a gift when I was 6 years old. I've had this lamp for years. It's one of those cool items that was made during the original golden era of cars, and I'm happy to own it. A lot of longtime OGs have this lamp that are, at least still collect to this day, and I think it's just one of those pieces that's like very cool to own if you're a longtime collector like me. And yeah, this lamp is like nearly 20 years old. A lot of the stickers have peeled. I'm actually very happy because a lot of the stickers are loose, but they're all still intact. They're all still on here. And I'm probably someday gonna have to dust it off and glue all the stickers back on because they are like all falling off. But yeah, I'm see, there you go. I'm happy to own it. That's why I don't mess with this that much, because at least at some point I'm gonna fix it. But for now, it's just gonna kind of chill like that. But yeah, there is number 15. There's 14 more to go. But yeah, number 15, getting that lamp when I was 6 years old. Number 14 would be finding Flick after hunting for him forever. So this was 2017, before Cars 3 came out in full swing. So they were releasing, they were still doing like their various, you know, the various characters, similar to what they do now. This was kind of like the last series block of that era, the 2013 to 2017 era, the post Cars 2 to pre Cars 3 era, where they were doing various sets within like a year or various series within one big line. So Flick was definitely one of those highly coveted re-releases that was a part of the drive-in line that year. There was Flick, PT Flea, and also I never found this one. It was Sully and Yeti, or Yeti the Abominable. Yeah, just Yeti the Abominable Snowplow. They re-released those two in a two-pack. Never found that one. It was pretty rare that I found out later. But they also released Ham again. Never found that one. But yeah, and they were Slick and PT Flea. So there's that. I remember going to the Target. Oh yeah, Mike was the one. Sorry, not Ham. But there's the back. And I remember at the time, I was looking pretty much as often as I could when I was biking up to Target, and it was kind of disappointing because I'd go up there and I never found him. And I at first, I remember what happened was the case that he was in. I ended up finding it at Target, and I was pretty disappointed because I thought somebody had took him already. Because the day before when I went, that case wasn't out yet, and he was already gone when I went back. So I was kind of disappointed because I thought I'd missed him. So then I left, and then I came back probably the same day, and he was there. So I'm thinking someone must have tried to hide him somewhere or misplace him, and an employee found him and put him back. But yeah, that's how I got Flick that year in 2017. It was one of the first cars I was obsessed with trying to find in my modern era, and I found him. So there's my Flick from 2017. The only time he was released as a single, and I've had him ever since. So there you go. Finding Flick in 2017 is number 14. Now you might be thinking, what is Cactus Lightning McQueen? What's significant about this? So number 13, this was the very car that got me back into collecting again after like seriously hardcore collecting after like a couple year hiatus. Um Now this car, I back in the day, I never liked Cars 2. It was for a stupid reason. I just number one, I wasn't a fan of the movie. I didn't like, and I'm sure a lot of people can agree with me. I just didn't like the spy aspect of it. It kind of took away from the core theme that made Cars what it was, and that's why I like Cars 3 more than Cars 2. But back to the story, like I didn't like Cars 2 because the diecast replaced the ones I like finding in stores. That was my stupid reason for why I didn't like Cars 2 at the time. Because I like finding those Cars 1 cars in store. And at the time I didn't understand, it didn't click like why are these things replacing all the other ones? And now it makes sense as I'm growing up, all about merchandising and all that stuff and what Mattel tried to do. But yeah, 2013, late 2012 rolls around and I'm like 9 years old. And I'm like, oh, I go back to the cars aisle. A lot of the Cars 2 stuff is gone. And then like that some of the classic cars that were coming out when I was like in my toddler, range were out again. I'm like, oh, well, cool. I miss these. So the first car I buy was this one. My dad got it for me. This was 2013, and I think this was part of one of the first cases from that line. It was part of the Lightning McQueen 95 racing um, inner series within the whole 2013 line. I think Brand New Mater came out around that same time, so I got that one as well. What do you like? Or Nature Drive McQueen. There was Holly re-release. So there was a lot of there's a lot of different cars from the first and second movies that came out again, and it was just really nice to see. I guess my favorite part or my favorite aspect of collecting cars back in pegs again for me to buy again. So that was kind of it was kind of reintroduction to it sparked my love for cars in the first place, if that makes sense. So yeah, that was number 13, and number 12 next. Number 12 was completing the Silver Cars 2020 series. Now, a little bit of background, obviously this was during COVID, so I remember being stuck at home, not finding crap, and I remember I would always watch several content creators, and sometimes they'd find stuff in their area, and I'd always be like, well, why can't Minnesota get these? It's like, because, we weren't really a priority for distribution during COVID. So the few places that got cars, that still restocked cars during when the pandemic was really bad, were like bigger stores or bigger areas, like bigger populated areas, which made sense. Minnesota is kind of that median range, so we weren't really a big priority. So August rolls around, and my Walmarts in the Twin Cities had absolutely nothing for like 6 to 7 months. No, and I'm not joking. Literally, it was like 6 to 7 months I didn't find anything. And I finally go to this Walmart in southwestern Minnesota, of all places. Maybe 5,000 people live in this town. And I go there, and all of a sudden, I had already had this one. I guess I did find that one, but that was before the pandemic locked everything down. It was a while before I found these. And I find them in store, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, they're just all sitting there. There's like all the silver ones. There's like Tim Treadless, like Cruz, Jeff Corvette. So I ended up buying all of them, like including all like the 2020 Cars 1 racers that were coming out. They had all the cases. They were all just sitting there. So I made sure to buy every one I wanted. And that was a good day. It was kind of the first day that year in my cars collecting journey where I was like, okay, maybe things are getting back to normal and I can still find the cars that I have been hunting for without any issues. So it kind of brought back my spark a little bit that I felt like I had lost sitting at home. And the few times I would go to the store, would still find nothing. And there you go. So we got those. There was how many in the series? Three. There was 9 silver cars that year, in addition to all the metallics that came out. But yeah, it was a fun time, and yeah, that's number 12. Number 11 would have to be finding Quadrotorcal Sar and getting West Philanopus. So, it's like late 2023, early 2024, and year rolls by, and the highly coveted West Philanopus, including the re-release of Misty Motorcrass, were not in my household. I ended up not finding them in the store, which is okay. It happens. But yeah, I was gifted this from eBay as a gift from my parents, and I really appreciated it. So that I do have West Philanopus, the most, probably one of the rarest cars that came out that year. I never opened it. Didn't need to open it, but yeah, feel like intact is better. So yeah, got West Philanopus. So I was happy about that one. It was the most highly talked about release of that year. Um, and then 2024 rolls around, like April or whatever, and I'm going to a Target near me, and I happen to go catch this. Now, this was released, I think, in the same case as President Mater. I know it was released um, with Cactus McQueen's re-release. I know that, and I think Mater was signed was in it too. So I got that. I was like, wow, it's here. But Cactus McQueen wasn't funny enough. So then I raced to the other Target closest to that one, and this one was missing, and Cactus McQueen was there, so I'm thinking it must have been the same guy trying to find a decent sealed copy for their collection. Now this one's not bad by any means, so I'm like, I'll take it. So this one's probably one of the hardest. This one was the hardest to find 2024 release, for sure. But yeah, I found Quadro Torquilsar, which is one of those weird releases that was hard to find, and that's definitely a top moment memory in my 20 years of collecting, and I still have it to this day. Number 10. I'm sure this one needs no introduction, but this is the infamous 2007 Sarge Lead Paint Recall. This really, I think, Cars line was out for like, what, over a year now at that point. This was August 11th, 2007. Um, it was reported that several kids got, I don't know, got poisoned or brain damage from ingesting the paint chips from the Sarge Diecast because the Mattel factory in China cut corners, and instead of using normal green paint, they decided let's paint a kid's toy with lead, which was very common back then, but in the 2000s that should have been a big no-no. So I decided in 2023 I was going to buy it just to have a piece of history. So I did. This is the one. Um, it should, on the bottom of this cart, should say 7EA. But yeah, there's the back of that one. It had the post recall packaging on it. And this has sort of become an infamous car. Um, and with it came a lot of misconceptions that all Sarges had lead paint. That's not true. The Thailand one definitely did not, and not even all the China ones did. It's only the ones that had the bottom of the production code in the bottom. If yours said 70A, yeah, yours had lead paint. Now, it doesn't mean owning it is gonna kill you, obviously. So yeah, it was just a big deal. A lot of worried parents, including my own, they don't want to take any chances. So they were about to get that car for me too. Thank God they didn't, because my dad literally remembers going to the aisle and there's a picture of this toy plastered in the car section. It was cleared out. All the cars were pulled from the shelves, including, it was bad. Like, it was that bad that all the cars, even the ones that weren't painted with lead, were had to be pulled. Like, think about it. All these cars in the back, because of this one car, had to be pulled. All of these guys that came out that same year. Like, it was that bad. Because you just didn't know. What if a car came in contact with that one? Was it contaminated too? And no, it wasn't. I know there was also a 2-pack with Fillmore released that year that also had the lead Sarge in it, so that one obviously had to be pulled as well. But yeah, I decided to buy it in 2023, get a ETB case, put it in when they were easy to find um, back in the day, and yeah, I got it. But okay, But yeah, there's that. And it really is a story that a lot of people my age can tell because they were there for it, you know? And some of them had this car, and some of them still do. It's just they didn't roughhouse with it, so as long as you did that, you were fine. But still, just be safe around lead paint. But yeah, that is number 10, and it's something that a lot of people my age can remember. But yeah, the Sarge lead paint recall of 2007. Number 9, building my original sealed cars collection. Now, this one is always a hard topic for me to think about because not only do I not have them anymore because they're lost, but I also don't even have pictures of them. So it was 2013, maybe like early 2014. Planes were still in abundance as well, and I decided, you know what? I'm gonna finally listen to my dad, and I'm gonna finally start collecting cars, like sealed ones, on my own and not open them. And I did. I had a good discipline. I had about I had a lot of good ones. I had the Autonaut McQueen. I had Hudson Hornet Piston Cup McQueen on the Cars 2 packaging. I had a lot of the original planes too, like the originals from 2012 that said "From Above the World of Cars" on them. I had Mayday. I had a Bulldog with eyes error, like no eyes, missing eyes. Like I had all that stuff. Rip Slinger, and eventually, yeah, they something happened and then they got lost, and I haven't seen them since 2015. And I remember taking pictures of them on my iPad, and I had those for a while, and then somehow those got deleted as well, so I don't even have a picture of that as a memory anymore. Hopefully I find them someday, but I don't know. It was just a bad time, and I feel like they're definitely gone now for good. But this one was the last survivor from that original collection because I think I had Sidewall Shine, and somehow he fell and just got spared. But yeah, there's my Sidewall Shine. Um, from that original era that I had. Looking back, that was such a cool packaging, that era. I believe this was 2014, 2013 when this one came out, but yep, I've had that one ever since, and yeah, I think I had this one too, Sparrow Mint and N2O Cola as well. I remember. It's just I know it's just sad thinking about it. And I'm sure someday I'll find them, but doing my seal collection now, there'll always be a part of me that will miss it, you know? But yeah, that's number 9. Yep, number 9. Number 8 was receiving the Carnival Cup Racers from 2016, Christmas from my dad. At the time, nobody wanted these things, and eventually they got clearanced out, which is how my dad got them, which is pretty sick. So I was gifted these from him. Christmas Day, I had Jeff Gorvette that I use as an example. I also have McQueen. I don't know where I put that one right now. He is somewhere here though. I also have Carla and I think Shu as well. Yeah, I had 4 of them and maybe Raul as well. But yeah, um, I got the Carnival Cup Racers 2016, and now those are some of the more highly sought after sub series from the Cars 2 Racers. So 10 years later. Number 7 was getting all of the Disney 100 silver cars. Now, this was a challenge. This was my for the end of towards the end of my first year of college. Any free time I got, I'd go to the Walmarts hunting for them. I ended up finding this one at a Walmart. Now, funny story, I found Purple Hormone first, then Sally. They were just kind of chilling at another Walmart. I got those, and then I ended up finding Flo somewhere else. Then I ended up finding Mater in where did I find Mater? I found him like at shoot, I don't remember. I found him at Target or something. It was all scattered, but the biggest find happened to be when I found all of them at once at a Walmart closest to my college. I went there and literally, I kid you not, they were just putting them out. And there was already a Hot Wheels scalper over there, and I'm like, Oh, darn. Too late, I said. And he's like, are you looking for these? I'm like, well, kinda. I collect Disney Pixar cars. And he's like, all right, you can just have them. I'm like, oh, cool. So then I am getting all of them. I got the whole collection at once. So I bought them all. This is the only McQueen I found, which doesn't really matter about that on the corner. They're still very hard to find. And I got them all. That was such a fun line to collect. And it was just a fun memory I had. But yeah, that was number 7. And I still am going to look forward to those metallic cars that are coming out this year. So I'm a hunt for those as well. Number 6 would have to be getting my character encyclopedia at Costco. So, yeah, I'm sure you guys are cringing at me already. Yup, this is this is what happens. This is what happens, guys, when you don't take care of your stuff. I love this book. I read the crap out of it. I thought this was the coolest book. So yeah, it's not in the best condition, but I still I still loved it, man. Like this was my jam. But yeah, there's that one. I got the character encyclopedia. I walked in Costco with my dad. We were just having a good time shopping, and I asked him, "Hey, Dad, can I get this?" And yeah, he got it for me. And I remember eating a hot dog and ice cream that day as well, looking at the book for the first time, and unboxed the car right there in the cafe food court. Here he is, 14 years later. 2012 this came out, so I had this ever since. But yeah, that's number 6. Number 5 is probably an early moment of me beating the scalpers at the store. It was me going with my mom and finding Damaged King in 2009 at Target. Um, I go there. This car, just Race-A-Rama series, right? 2009. It catches my eye instantly, and I'm like, "Hey, mom, can I get this?" And she's like, "Yeah, let's go get it." So I remember checking it out, putting it on the conveyor belt, and I've had it ever since. So this is my original Damaged King from 2009, one of the more highly sought after cars from that year, and I think it was the chase of that year. But yeah, Damaged King, number 5 in my memories. Number 4 was receiving my first original cars from that time. I had Lightning, Mater, Chick, Sheriff, and of course my original Max Super Hauler. Um, yep, this is my original one. I played the heck out of it, and I still love it to this day. It's the second version, so this is the one I think that there was one that came with the McQueen and without. I think I just got the supercharged one, but there's that Mac, and then this chick is just a representation of how I got my original Chick Hicks, which is still lost. Still don't know where it is, but yeah. There's the back of the supercharged series, so I got him, 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 and then Mac. Mater was the first car I ever opened. Couldn't find him for this video. He's in my case somewhere. But yeah, um, first original cars I got, and that's the moment that started it all, man. For my love and passion of this game, cars collecting. So a lot of these pieces are missing, but there's that. I got rid of all the car wash pieces, but there it is. Still mostly all there. Yeah, that's number 4. Number 3, my Christmas 2007 haul. My first year of collecting cars rolled around, came and went, and my grandmother, God rest her soul, gave some money to go get some cars for me for Christmas, and boy, did my face light up when I got Ferrari, man. So I got Ferrari along with Ham, Yeti, Old School Ramon, Hydraulic Ramon, Tex Dynaco, probably Nitro 8 as well, leakless. I think a brand new Mater too. There was a lot, so I got a lot of those cars. But I'll never forget that day. It was a memorable day, and yeah, I ended up buying it later just to have a memory of how I got it. So this is the original Ferrari, and there still hasn't been a Ferrari released since 2009. But it's my original one, and there it is. So that is number 3 on my memories. Number 2, and I wouldn't have it so high if it wasn't so difficult for me to find. That's finding Jerry recycled batteries at Walmart in October of last year. I hunted for this guy for about a month, wasted probably over 1,000 miles worth of gas. It was terrible, and it was very poorly planned. It took so long. I feel like for stuff like this, you have to be, in my area at least, you have to be diligent. You can't sleep, because the moment you sleep on something and come back the next day after, it more likely would have happened. It always was the case for me, so that's why I said I'm going to get this guy by any means necessary. I'm going to do my homework. So I would do that. I'd do that in the morning before I went to school, and I eventually found it. After months of hunting, and then I ended up finding another one, so I got that to open it because I thought it was cool. And as we all know, the original Jerry is so expensive, and this one was also no spring chicken either. So happy to find it, and this Jerry is probably one of the more highly coveted items in my collection. So yeah, number 2 is finding Jerry recycled batteries, the Peterbilt, for dang sakes. Turn on your light, you moron. Number 1 is something I've talked about on this channel before and made videos about in the past, but I think since it's the 20th anniversary of Cars today, and the fact that, I don't know, it's probably one of the most memorable moments of my life in terms of collecting the diecast. Now this is COVID time. November of 2020 rolls around, and my local Walmart, hadn't gotten anything like over half a year. It was getting very frustrating, and then one day I go there, and the biggest chase of the year was the infamous metallic transforming Lightning McQueen, which actually ended up being the last, not only the last, it was the last chase or super chase. They haven't done one since. Um, and I go there, thinking I'm not going to find anything, and lo and behold, bang, it was there. I found it. He was there, and I've had him ever since, and that was probably one of the most WTF moments in my life, because I'm like, this is the last Walmart I would have expected to have it. And as you can see, they only made 4,000 of these. So to find this thing at probably one of the worst Walmarts in the state was pretty impressive, because it really isn't a good Walmart, and it still isn't. And I found it, and I was like, yes, please. One more month rolls around, um, getting into COVID, winter. There was a snowstorm that day, and it was the day before Christmas Eve. I'm going there. The 2021 cases are starting to come out, and who the heck do I find again? Probably the dumbest one, obviously. That's expensive, but the most rarest racing red car, Racing Red Mater. I found him too. Same Walmart. Both of these probably the two rarest cars in my collection of the modern era that I own. Um, yeah, and I guess period as well. Found both of them in the same Walmart. That was terrible. But yeah, that's my number 1 moment in my collecting journey. And there's still 2 pieces I'd never get rid of just because of the stories behind them. And I think that's what makes cars collecting special. It's the memories you make along the way. It's the stories you have about why you collect. So 20 years later, this is kind of what I got. I'm pretty proud of my collection. Happy birthday. Happy 20th birthday, Cars. You've changed so many people's lives just with collecting and the aspect behind small town, saving the small towns. Small towns are important to America. The aspect of the message of the first movie. And yeah, I feel like it's changed my life, and I wouldn't trade the last 20 years for the world. I don't know. Here's to 20 more years. The memories we made along the way. And yeah, I'm excited for hunting more cars. The race to celebrate cars should be coming out of my area soon. along with that coveted metallic 2-pack of Lightning and Doc, as well as that metallic gift pack with Sarge, Mater. Um, there's a lot of them. Ramon, McQueen. That should be a fun one. But here's to 20 years. Here's to 20 more years.